What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Fighters Android number 21. Here we do have Android 21 in the packaging. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get her opened up, and then we'll have a better look at the figure inside. So stay tuned, everyone. And so here we have Android 21 posed and out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's actually run through her accessories really fast, because she does come with quite a bit. She does come with 4 different face plates. She does come with one where she's looking off to the right and smirking. She comes with one looking off to the left and smiling. She comes with a yelling or laughing face. And then she also does come with peaceful Android 21. Android 21 also does come with 9 hands. She does come with a style pose hand for her right hand, a finger pointing hand for her right hand, a hand where she can cup her face for her right hand, a key blasting right hand, a style pose left hand, a left hand where she has her hand closed, a relaxed hand for holding the donut, and then we also do get a pair of key blasting hands, which looks really good. And then she also does get a donut, which is a really nice accessory. They did a good job painting the donut. So overall, really good accessories on Android 21. Surprisingly, we don't get a set of fists because she is from a fighting game and fists seem kind of mandatory. But anyway, with her accessories out of the way, let's actually run through her details. And so here we have a closer look at Android 21, and they did a really good job with this figure. Now, I really do love her hair sculpt. As you can see, it's sculpted really well. You can kind of see the seam line where her face detaches and attaches, but they did a pretty good job masking it for the most part. Again, this hair sculpt is just beautifully done. It looks really, really good. It is a little bit heavy, so it does make her a little back heavy. Along with her tail, there's a lot going on that would make her fall over. However, you can use her tail as a tripod, so she does stand pretty well. Having a look at the face, her face is done beautifully. There's a lot of things to love about that face. Now, I think my one and only gripe is we don't get a smiling face where she's looking straight ahead. All her expressions have her looking to the left or to the right. The only forward-facing head that we really have is her yelling face, which is a little bit disappointing. But all her faces are done beautifully, and I think my favorite two are the one where she's smirking and then the one where she has blue eyes. So they did a really good job with that. Also painting her earrings, they did a good job with that. It's a really nice, vibrant gold. You can see she has the loop right here on her earlobe, and then she has a piercing higher up on her ear, and that's the same for both sides. So just overall beautifully sculpted figure with really good paint apps. Moving on to her torso, I want to say that this neck ring is a separate piece, but it doesn't come off. It's actually glued on, but it's painted really, really well. You can see she is pink because she does have some Majin DNA in her. She has Frieza DNA, Cell DNA, Saiyan DNA. Every DNA you can think of, she has it. They did a really good job with her torso. Now, one thing I do have to complain about is her shoulders. It's really obvious that that is a ball joint shoulder. They could have done something different just to make that look somewhat decent. That's obviously an articulation point and not how she looks in the game. They could have easily just sculpted that a little bit higher just to cover that up and still given us some pretty good range, but unfortunately they didn't do that. Really do like her arm sleeves right here. You can see they are done in black plastic. It's not black paint. The only paint is up here on her arm. Going down, you can see she has these gold looplets going around her wrist, and then she also does have a ring right here on her left middle finger. She doesn't have a ring on this hand, but she also does sport the looplets right here. She's just wearing a black tube top which goes all the way around, and they actually did sculpt detailing in it, so really good job there. She does have a belt which is painted really cleanly, going all the way around to the back. I think this is another point I have to complain about, is her belt is a floating piece. There's so many ways they could have made that work, and that isn't the way to do it. I don't like this belt piece. Although it does a good job filling it out, it moves around a lot and really doesn't sit perfectly straight unless you align it. So that's one issue I do have. She does have really baggy pants because her design is based off Majin Buu, and it looks pretty good. The sculpt work on it is really nice, and you can see they sculpt the knees right here. It's a little bit filled out right here in the back, so I do like that. Her tail does come out and it does peg in here, so we do get rotation on that, which we'll have a better look at when we talk about articulation. But her tail can act as a stand for her, because one thing she has is heels. She is wearing high heels, and that already makes it really tough for her to stand, on top of having her hair, which makes her back heavy, and a tail, which also adds to the weight in the back. Giving her heels is not an ideal situation, but thankfully her tail does come down to the floor, so you can kind of use that as a 3-point stage. But the boots are done really well. You can see she has gold tipped right here, so that looks good. And then we continue that gold looplet motif right here. So overall, really good paint apps. The gold isn't bleeding over, which I really do appreciate that. So overall, Android 21 looks really, really good, and despite having a tail, she also does have a problem standing. You can get her standing, but you gotta have her tail just right, otherwise she has a tendency to lean over. So with her details out of the way, let's actually get her compared to a few other figures you may have in your collection. Here we do have Android 21 posed next to a DC Multiverse Superman and a Marvel Legends Cyclops. Here we have Android 21 posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. And finally, here we have Android 21 posed next to Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually run through her articulation. Android 21 does have a ball joint in the head. She can look down about that far. She can look up quite a bit, which is surprising seeing as how she does have a lot of hair. She does tilt side to side, so that works really, really good. She actually has some of the best head tilts from any Dragon Ball figure that I've seen. Her hair is on a hinge, so it does move back as you need it to, and it does rotate, so you can actually pose her hair as you need it to. And seeing as how her hair does move out of the way, you can actually turn her head really, really well, so I do like that. Moving her hair back down. Her arms do go out to about that far. They do a full 360. You do got to be careful for the hair. They do swivel up high at the shoulder. She has a double bend in the elbow. Although it's just a single elbow, we get a really good range of mobility on it. She does have a ball hinge in the wrist, so we have some up and down movement. We can rotate that joint for in and out movement, and then we can rotate that on the ball peg itself. She doesn't have butterfly joints, but her shoulder does seem to be a ball joint, so it can rotate a little bit in that socket. And one thing I do like is that her shoulders do pull out, so if you need to get a little more range, you can pull her shoulders out, so I do like that. She has a mid-torso joint right underneath her chest, which does lean forward and leans back further than it leans forward. We do get some really nice side-to-side movement, so we get some rotation up there. We do have a lower torso joint, which adding them together, she leans back really, really far, leans forward, not as far, and that's just the way they sculpted it. Her torso kind of comes down at an angle in the front, so we get more backwards movement than we do forwards movement, which is a little bit of a shame, and we get a little bit of rotation right there. Tail is on a ball joint, so it does rotate all the way around. Has a hinge, so we can rotate here as well as at the base. We also do get one little swivel right here at the middle of the tail. I want to say this is a reuse of Frieza's tail, but I could be wrong. I'll have to get Frieza out and see how that tail stacks up. But tail mobility is really good. Legs do kick forward pretty high, actually. You can see she does high kicks really well. Her legs go all the way back, surprisingly. Do be careful for her belt, as you can see it does ride up. Legs go out all the way so she can do the splits pretty well. Rotates at the thigh. Now this is the only point of articulation that I absolutely hate on this figure. She has a double bend in the knee, and using them together we get about that much bend to it. And I'm not normally one to complain about knees, but this knee is terrible. You can actually get just one knee joint going, and that is horrendous. I don't know, and it even came off, so that is a really terrible design for a knee joint. I don't even know what they were thinking with it. That's such a terrible design, honestly. She does have a hinge in the ankle which goes back and forward. We do have rotation. We have pivot in the ankle, so we get really good rocker ankle on her. And then for some reason, we get a toe joint. And it's confusing because she's already on heel, so her toe is already bending up as far as it can go. It doesn't make sense for her toe to bend that much further. But anyway, I digress. Really good articulation. Hate these knees. These are really terrible knee joints. But other than that, I still love the way this figure came out. So what we're going to do now is take a little break, get her posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have Android 21 posed for my final thoughts. Overall, I love the way this figure came out. I wasn't really too excited to have her in hand, but having her in hand, she's much better than I would have originally anticipated. If there's one thing I have to say about this figure, it's that she has a lot of attitude. You can get so many distinct poses with this figure, and it is just insane how many different styles you can have her. She can be sassy, she can be seductive, she can be evil, she can be angry. So many ways you can have her pose. You can even have her pose adorably like I have her right now with the donut and the blue eyes. There's just so much options with this figure, and it's not just because she has a lot of accessories, but the articulation works on her really well. Despite the fact the knees are trash and the shoulders could have been designed a little bit better, I still love the way Android 21 came out. The articulated hair helps with posing and gets out of the way when you need it to. So overall, this is a really nice figure. Even though I've never played Dragon Ball FighterZ, I still wanted to have this figure in my collection just to see if she was a really good figure. And you know what? She turned out to be an excellent figure. If you are looking for Android 21, I did pick up mine from Big Bad Toy Store. At the time I'm making this video, she's still available on Big Bad Toy Store, so if you want to pick her up, go check them out and get your very own Android 21. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball related videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.